And we're still trying to get our footing in some of these processes, and it's my job to try to figure out. So from the subcontractor side of things, every general contractor might be different. That being said, it's any subcontractor that doesn't run a business with the expectation that they leave the job site clean and tidy and in good manner, they're really, cutting themselves short.
It can vary wildly. We just built 3 of the same house, and we are somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000 difference from the low house to the high house. And so that just shows you that not all real estate investing is a home run every time. And it really depends on where the lot is and what we can build it for.
Thanks for joining us on another REI-NWA podcast. My name is Coley Bailey. I'm your host, and I am a broker and team leader at the Lone Rock team at Fathom Realty. And today, this is episode number 22, and we're going to be talking about job site safety and cleanliness with Mitchell Humbard and Austin Rawls. Thanks for joining, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So this talk is coming up on March 5th, 2024. It's going to be at the Golden Corral in Rogers, so you guys can always join us there. And this is going to be job site cleanliness and safety, and so we're going to get into all of that. First of all, I want to rewind the clocks a little bit so everybody can get to know you guys. And so tell me, where are you guys from?
I'll start it out. Man, I'm from Marion, Arkansas. That's the east side of the state, right by Memphis and West Memphis. Moved over here for college originally, actually Fort Smith, and then moved around for a little while. And wife and I wanted to plant our roots here in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, fantastic. So when did you end up over here?
In Northwest Arkansas, I guess we've been, I think 7 years this month, actually.
Oh, fantastic.
No, 8 years. 8 years.
All right.
So they're really enjoying it.
Cool. And what about you, Mitchell?
I am born and raised in Springdale, Arkansas. So
right.
been here my whole life and
Yep.
really enjoy it.
Okay. So, and how did you get involved in the building side of things?
Well, for me, I've always had admiration for real estate in general. Clearly in Northwest Arkansas, it's a very important thing for building to be a big deal. I personally haven't done any type of building projects yet, but Mitchell and I have agreed to just tag team one here in the near future. He's doing great things with properties in Bella Vista, and I think he's done some other ones as well.
And your company is Black Oak,
Black
right?
Oak Builders.
Black Oak Builders.
Yes, sir.
And you're doing a lot in Bella Vista then?
Yes.
All
yeah,
right.
we do primarily in Bella Vista,
Yeah.
just because lots are affordable.
Yep.
Well, that's with the caveat. I'm trying to purchase a piece of land right now with
Yes.
flat 1.24 acres on it. So I'm going to get my boy over here to build us a few homes on it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you've had an entrepreneurial spirit for years now. I mean, you've got your own companies going and everything.
Course.
So.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been doing real estate for on and off, mostly on for the last 6 years, a little bit before that. I've really done a lot of the scrappy type stuff. To some degree, I started off, as you could imagine, really slow. We purchased a house and then we ended up moving. We wanted to keep that house, rent it.
Yep.
Then you kind of flip that next house, and before you know it, you get into this groups of people and you start having conversations. REI is one of them.
Yeah.
I've had a friend at one point. I was investing pretty heavily with them. I was the investor in it. It was a lot of wholesale type deals. And what they were doing was they were purchasing and then renovating them and then wholesaling them. Essentially, so really what happened is they had a buyer right off the bat. They would get it under contract, and I would get them to the closing table essentially, and obviously earn interest on that. And then that evolved over the years into some other opportunities that were really exciting. Some not always as good as others, and I've even taken the leap into syndications and things like that. Still yet to be determined how that goes. So,
all right. Yeah.
So next step is building with my boy Mitchell over
Well,
here.
there you go. I mean, it's a wild world with all the different things you can do in real estate. I mean, it's really overwhelming when people jump into it sometimes, and so it's fun to break down all the different little experiences people have and everything. But yeah, especially as you were saying, in new construction here in Northwest Arkansas is really important. We have so many people moving in.
Absolutely.
We don't have enough houses for them. I don't know if you knew this, it's 35% of the homes that sell in our market are new construction. The last, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, that's been pretty consistent.
As well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how'd you get into building?
I started going to college, and during that time, it was 2009, 2010, my dad started buying rental properties. He'd buy them, and then myself and a crew would come in and tear them down and rebuild them.
Yep.
I did that while I was in school. Worked in cabinet shops. Then after I got out of school, I decided I didn't really want to work with anybody anymore and wanted to do my own thing. So I started working as a trim carpenter.
Okay.
And so that was from tearing out stuff and rebuilding them with my dad's rental properties. I realized that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest trades, man.
It is.
It's so detail oriented.
Very detail oriented. You got to have the most amount of tools.
Yeah,
It's
the visible one.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't see how all the electrical runs behind the walls, but they definitely see all the trim and
absolutely
and all the finishings that you do.
Yeah. I worked in a lot of high end homes with Osage Custom Trim.
Okay.
They really do a great job on those homes, and then. After that, I realized that the builder's the one making the actual money on those. And so I went and got my license and started doing remodels mostly. We did some whole house remodels and then moved into the new construction in Bella Vista.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. So when did you get started? Like, do you remember what year your first house was that you got to build?
Yeah, so that was actually just last year.
Oh, okay. All right.
We built 6 houses last year, and then this year we're on track to build 12.
Man, that's off to a great start.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Way to go.
So that was our first new constructions, but we've been doing quite a few.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're going to get into job site safety and cleanliness right after this word from our sponsor.
Are you struggling with real estate code compliance? Let Ordinal, your AI navigator, simplify it for you. Receive clear answers to your nuanced compliance questions in seconds with citations included. Currently, the Ordinal beta version specializes in the Northwest Arkansas cities of Bentonville, Fayetteville, Springdale, and Rogers. Join the beta version now and get your first month free using the promo code REI. After that, it's just $12 a month. Visit breakground.ai/ordinal or click the link in the description below. Start incorporating AI into your real estate workflows today with Ordinal.
All right, guys, so let's talk about your topic that's coming up for your builder circle. It is job site cleanliness and safety. So, I mean, just starting out, what are some of the code requirements that people need to keep in mind for safety, for cleanliness, things like that? Because you always have these inspectors coming in and out. Do they ever flag things?
Come in. Mostly, it's the Architecture Control Committee in Bella Vista that dictates how clean the job site needs to be. Also, the grading erosion control. They don't want debris getting into the streams and that kind of stuff, and so you got to put up BPMs, which is like straw wattles, that kind of thing, so the erosion gets stopped there.
Okay.
But mainly just keeping trash in trash cans and keeping the job site picked up is big.
Yeah. What are some best practices to make sure that that's actually getting done? Because we all know if you've been on construction sites, guys come in, they're banging hammers, they're slinging stuff, they're doing their job, and then they want to get off your site and get to another one, right? So,
sure.
I mean, how do you hold them accountable to doing that?
Yeah, luckily I've got some really good subs, but when there is a problem, we just address it with them and say, hey, this is something that is part of your job, is cleaning up after yourself.
Does it go in contracts? Does it go in your contracts with your subs?
We don't really have contracts with our subs. It's more of a, hey, I need you to get this job done, and they say, this is the price, and that's kind of what we talk about. But I do have a verbal conversation with them of, hey, I expect you to keep it clean. Like, you're not going to trash the job site.
Yeah.
The dumpster's there. Put the stuff in the dumpster.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times that people leave water bottles and that kind of stuff around, and I go to job sites most every day, and I pick up when I can just to keep it and keep all the neighbors happy.
Right. Yeah. So in terms of the safety aspects, I mean, what are we looking for there?
Well, back when I was a trim carpenter, you get to be working like you said, and there'd be sawdust everywhere, and there'd be little pieces of wood everywhere. So it's a big trip hazard, as well as it can be a fire hazard. I always tried to clean up as I went. That way, I didn't have one big cleanup at the very end. You know. So I had vacuums on my saws. I had trash cans next to my saw so I could drop stuff in it whenever it was done. And so we just really wanted to keep it clean, because if you don't, then you're going to slip, you're going to fall, you're going to work slower, having to work around all that stuff. So it's a big deal.
And so, Austin, you've got Perfect Edge Lawn Care. So, I mean, any thoughts on the cleanliness side that you guys do? Best practices?
Ironically, Mitchell and I recently had conversations about this. We failed in a situation, not by design, but more of an oversight on my part. And, we actually utilize a subcontractor ourselves in certain situations, whether it, typically just to lay the sod or something like that, because it's such a low margin type business. And for instance, Mitchell articulates what the expectation is. I think to our crew, we understand there's always an expectation to clean up your job site once you're done. It's really just a common courtesy and a professionalism aspect. We dropped the ball recently. That's neither here nor there at this moment, but the way that was addressed was really professional as well. So, but what we're doing is we're coming in.
And was it on your job site?
It was. It's
you got lucky then.
I got lucky. Yeah, I got extremely lucky that we're working with good people. Otherwise I might not have a job next time around. But all that aside.
Yeah, about that.
No. Yeah, but in all seriousness, it's real important. Like my oversight in this situation was we completed it. Our crew said they cleaned up everything, and then what happens is our subcontractor comes in. We were originally planning, and typically are there when a portion of that is executed, the sod in particular, and then they left the job site dirty, and I didn't send our crew back to make sure that it was taken well care of. And that's something that every subcontractor, in each situation, we obviously in landscaping do a very dirty job.
Right.
I mean, it involves dirt and grass and all these things, and in the winter it's muddy. It's all just exacerbated. It's worse.
Pulling rocks out, building walls.
No
and stuff,
doubt. And we're still trying to get our footing in some of these processes, and it's my job to try to figure out. So from the subcontractor side of things, every general contractor might be different. That being said, it's any subcontractor that doesn't run a business with the expectation that they leave the job site clean and tidy and in good manner. They're really cutting themselves short anyway, because why would someone want to work?
So I've heard of some builders asking their crews to take a picture before they leave.
Yeah.
I mean, is that helpful? Would that be a good?
Yeah. And that's where I messed up on this last job. I had a sod crew come in after to lay the sod. They were supposed to be there the day we were on the job, and they got behind and didn't make it. And we were working another job, and I had told some of the guys we were off, and then it never slipped my mind, which is on me.
Right.
I should have sent our crew back early that next week or something like that to make sure that it was to the expectation level that we have. So
we got it addressed, and it all worked out.
It did, yeah. And so it won't be an issue moving forward, of course. But.
So I mean, it's one of those things too, as real estate agents and brokers, when you're working with a client that's buying a new construction home, man, they want to be there all the time, and you kind of have to tell them, you got to let the guys work. You got to give them some space. Yeah, I mean, check in once a week or whatever. Like, I'll run out, I'll grab photos and give you an update and all that. Don't mind doing that. That's absolutely love to.
What'd you say to me the other day? Like, it gets ugly before it gets pretty or something.
Yeah, well, I tell people it's a 200,000 piece puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's not going to go together perfect every time.
No.
There's going to be crews that work over each other and then have to come back and fix things, and it's just the nature of the beast, So
a lot of times it's not as linear as you would hope it to be.
Right.
There's a lot of bouncing around that has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, even if you have a great schedule, even if you have a great budget, there's going to be things that have to get shifted around. Just
things always come up.
like one guy gets sick, throws everything
Yeah, it
off,
does.
you know?
No doubt.
So,
Yeah.
No doubt.
all right. So once again, you're invited to come to our Builder Circle event. It is going to be on March 5th, 2024. It's going to be at the Golden Corral in Rogers. And of course, these guys are going to be there. But you got some other contractors that are going to be there too. Why don't you tell us who else is going to be there?
Yeah, so obviously this Builder Circle topic is about keeping the job tidy and cleaning up. We've got a couple more folks coming. One in particular is a junk removal guy. That business is a Strong Lion Junk Removal.
Okay.
Ramon Gutierrez is the owner of that. And then we're going to have Amanda Nickel with She Can Do It Cleaning Solutions. Both of them work heavily with real estate investors, as you could imagine, builders and so forth.
Yeah.
So two different pieces of that puzzle of keeping a property cleaned up. They kind of complement each other in that sense. So
Yeah, absolutely. Having a good roll-off service, like moving, is
Yes, it is.
really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
And cleaning, right? Especially right before that certificate of occupancy
Yeah.
and getting everything ready to close.
We typically get it cleaned right after all the trades are done inside.
Yeah.
The outside's pretty well done, and then right before close. So we want customers to be able to walk into a
Yeah.
perfectly clean house.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is going to be a good topic, and you got a great group of people that are going to be presenting. So come on out and see us. It's going to be $20 at the door, or as usual, if you are an REI-NWA member, it's $0 at the door. Also, since we're doing the podcast and the YouTube, you might be watching this from someplace else in the country other than Northwest Arkansas. We totally understand that. You can still be a member of REI-NWA right from our website, and you get to see all of our programs recorded on the private YouTube channel if you are a member, so you can watch from anywhere in the world, and we definitely invite you to do that. And you can actually see years worth of REI programs, our in-person events, because we've got them all backlogged there for you. All right, so Mitchell, tell us a little bit about how you build. Do you just build spec houses that you then sell to the end user, or
Yeah, pretty close. So
what do you do?
most of what we do is investor spec houses. So
Okay.
We find investors, or investors find us. We build the home, and then once the home's finished and we're ready to sell it, we do a profit split at the end.
Okay, so they carry the financing.
They carry the financing.
You build.
We carry the build. They don't pay us during the build at all.
Okay.
And then we do a profit split there at the end.
All right, fantastic. So do you work on the designs with them, or do you have designs?
So I've got several house designs that we pick from. All that is subject to whatever I pick. I find the lots, I pick the house plan, and then I give you a cost estimate and an expected return.
Okay.
And then you say, yeah, I want to do that project, or no, I don't want to do that project.
Fantastic. What kind of, I'm going to put you on the spot
Yeah.
here, what kind of range of returns are you seeing?
Man, it can vary wildly. We just built 3 of the same house, and we are somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000 difference from the low house to the high house. And so that just shows you that not all real estate investing is a home run every time.
Yeah.
And it really depends on where the lot is and what we can build it for.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah,
doing
people
really
don't think
well.
about that with the lot selection. I mean,
Yeah.
it changes.
does.
The house doesn't change, but
No.
the foundation changes.
It does. It does quite a bit. And
Yeah.
you would think in Bella Vista that hilly lots and steep lots are the norm. And we've got some right now that's one of the biggest things that comes up. So that's part of what we try to do is find lots that are
Right.
not as steep.
Right. Great. So you're doing a lot partnered with investors.
Yes, sir.
Splitting those profits at the end.
Doing a profit share at the end. Yes, sir.
In terms of what the investor has put in versus
Yeah.
what they're getting out. I mean, is this
Yeah.
what
So
kind of return is that?
they get quite a bit back. You can expect, depending on how much we purchase a lot for, but your out-of-pocket costs are somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 with the lot costs, closing costs on commercial loan,
Yeah.
the closing cost on the lot,
Mm-hmm.
and then closing costs on the actual house whenever we sell the house.
At the end, yeah.
And then interest payments,
Right,
obviously.
right.
But interest payments, they start out at 0, and then towards the end of the project, we're looking at about $2,000
a month.
a month. But
Yeah.
we typically try to get them sold within 3 months.
Okay, what kind of price point are you selling in right now?
We're trying to stay below 400,000. That seems to be the sweet spot for Bella Vista itself.
Yeah.
So we're building an 17 to 1,800 square foot home,
Okay.
and we're sticking right under 400,000,
Okay.
which gives us the most return for
Yeah.
what we're putting into it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's a great price point. It's right at our average.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, for 20,000, let's say 20,000 in interest payments and everything going
Yeah.
into closing costs and everything. What at the end, and you can give a range here, right? So,
So typically it's somewhere between, let's say, $18,000 and $25,000. It can be higher at sometimes, and we try not to let it be any lower than that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
it's
that's a great return.
It's a great return. You're
So you
putting
get your
in-
20 back.
You get your 20 back.
Plus 15.
Plus 15
or-
to 20.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's around 20, but there are obviously
Yeah.
other things that can happen. You never know on a job site. It's all a cost estimate, and
Right.
so it
Yeah.
can change.
Yeah, but still, that's
Yeah, it's a great
beating
return.
a lot of returns in
a
the
great
stock
return,
market,
and
or
It's beating
Yep.
most returns in the stock market, and also the investor, it's a very low impact, and so they don't have to make any decisions. They don't make any decisions. I send paperwork to them, they get it signed,
Yep.
and that's about it.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. It was good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thank you, sir.
It's hard to do this around the microphones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get a good handshake in, but appreciate you guys being here. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.